Money smarts start young. Do you pay your kids for chores around the house? Chores in general? Yeah. I got paid for chores. You know, chores look different depending on the environment that you grow up in. My chores were maybe bottle feeding a calf in the winter. Might have been feeding the dog and the cat, cleaning the room, whatever it was. We got paid to work on my parents' farm and ranch. I don't even remember how much we got paid. I have no idea. I should look into that. I should really look into that. But the crux of it is that we got paid. I had my first checking account when I was 12 years old. My parents thought it was important. Back in the day, when you balanced your checkbook, you wrote it all out on paper. There was no such thing as online banking. God, I just dated myself something fierce. But anyway, we had a checkbook and you wrote checks. We were responsible for buying our own school clothes at the beginning of the school year, as well as our school supplies. I don't remember the budgeting that much, but I remember going school shopping, and I remember knowing how much money I had and the clothes I wanted to buy for especially the first day of school. I probably complained a lot as a kid, I can only imagine. But in the end, I learned a lot of valuable lessons. I learned how to budget. I learned what was important to me. I may have wanted the brand name jeans, but I couldn't afford the brand name jeans if I was going to buy the rest of the clothes I wanted. You know, like going to movies, things like that. I remember my parents gave us money for things like that. But we were responsible for some of the choices that we made as far as purchasing. I think it was a good idea. I think it was a really valid, good idea. And to this day, it's helped me with money, with finance. We wrote everything out. Nowadays, we have spreadsheets. I wish we'd had spreadsheets back then. We just had graph paper. That's all we had was graph paper back in the old days. Anyway, crux of it is, I think it was a good lesson. I think it's important to teach your children about money, about finance, how far money goes, what you want, what you can afford. I think those decisions are really important. You know, the long-term effects of those minute little decisions that my parents made when I was 8, 9, 10 years old have stuck with me. And they'll stick with your kids. You know, there's the please, the whining, whatever. When you go to the store, oh, I remember that. With me and with my son. Because you really wanted something. You thought it was really important to you. Was it really important? I don't know. It could have been. But I think those are great times for conversations too. You know, why is that stuffed animal so important to you? What do you like about that stuffed animal? I think it's a good time to have a conversation. Stuffed animal is X amount of money. What makes that stuffed animal so important? What makes that little toy dump truck so important? Is it just one more new toy, or does it have real meaning behind it? And what happens if the answer is no? Lots of great life lessons in just those minute little moments about money, about material things. Habits are started, at least for me, habits were started when I was really young, not even knowing that I was being taught a habit. So to this day, when I look at something and I think I really want that, do I need it? Is it going to satisfy a need in my life? Is it just that I want something new and blingy? Interestingly, now I work in retail. I work in retail with women. And I'll tell you, a lot of purchases are made because they just want that bling. And you know what? They get it home, and that bling doesn't really mean that much to them, they figure out, and they return it. It's just a moment of satisfaction. I'm not really sure. I'm not up on the psychology of purchasing and why women purchase things. But I know for myself, especially if it's something expensive, I give a day or two, a week or two to think about it. And it's like, is it something I really, is it going to add value, or is it just a new bling to satisfy my need for a new bling? I don't know. The balance between habits, money spending, tasks, that's a valuable lesson as well. You know, some tasks probably are paid more money because they are a more valuable task. You know, cleaning your room, that was kind of expected. Every week, every Saturday, we cleaned our rooms. Yes, we probably got paid for it, but it was just expected. Now, the middle of the winter, the end of the winter, when you're bottle feeding a calf and you're responsible for measuring and mixing, cleaning, feeding the calf, that had more monetary value to it. You were making some decisions, at least in my case with my parents. They felt that there was decisions being made. You had to measure, you had to know the temperature of the water, yada yada. You had to know how to bottle feed the calf, etc. You had to do some time management because it needed to be done in the morning and in the evening, so that was before and after school. So you had to figure out your timeline as well. All those little habits that were just being taught. Time management, a valuable habit to be taught. If you knew you had 3 things that had to be done before you went to school, and whether it was catching the bus, walking, or your parents are giving you a ride to school, you got to work it backwards. When do you have to get up? Valuable lessons and habits. So those were just things that probably in most families they're just instilled, they're just created. You have things that need to be done in the morning. Every member of the family does. Everybody has responsibilities that need to be done in the morning. Was there whining? I'm sure there was whining. Come on, let's be real. I'm sure there was whining. My parents didn't put up with a lot of whining. That was back in the day. Let me date me again, where you got your ass whipped. Yeah, there was some ass whipping in my case. That is for damn sure, because I like to test things. Let me just test it a little bit, see if it's really going to work. But back to the money, back to the, the way you teach monetary lessons, monetary skills. Could be an envelope system, could be a jar system, could be a checking account, could be a lot of a lot of different things. But you're basically taught three things: how to save, how to spend, how to give. It's kind of was that simple. And yet not that simple. Because if you ran out of money, then what? Again, great life lessons, because my God, you don't want to be 45 learning how to handle your money when you run out of money at the end of the month, which sadly is the way a lot of people live. So if you've got children, instill these habits young. If you're a young person, learn these habits when you're young, because they're an invaluable habit to learn. Yeah, set priorities. Know your needs versus wants. Write it out. Put it on a piece of paper. What makes a need? What makes a want? You begin to identify your priorities and what's important to you. Is a brand name pair of jeans important to you? And if it is important to you, why is it important to you? Because you want to fit in? Because you want to look like your friends? I don't know. Those are things that you will discover about yourself. But I will tell you, if you begin to discover these things when you're young, it'll carry with you. When you're trying to discover these things when you're 30, 40, 50 years old, oh boy, that's a hard one. That's a really hard one. So help your kids learn the difference between a need and a want. Demonstrate in your life the decisions you have to make. What's a need? What's a want? Involve your children in those discussions, in those family discussions. You want a new car. Do you need a new car? Maybe you do need a new car. But include those decisions with your kiddos, because it will be valuable lessons. Let them talk. Let them share their ideas. Kids have some pretty brilliant, spot-on ideas. Let them be part of the decision making. The family car, moving into a new home, big decisions. Let your kids be involved in that. Let them know that their input is valuable, and teach them needs and wants. Those are lessons that will stick with them for life. How do you track your money? There's lots of apps now on how to track your money. Like I said, when I was a kid, we wrote things out. But tracking your money is really super important. I went to a conference once, and one of the speakers was from D.A. Davidson, which is an investment company, finance company, probably just in the Western USA. So if you haven't heard of it, don't feel left out. And it was called the Latte Fund. And it was as simple as instead of buying a latte every day, put that money into an investment fund. Oh, I already hear what you're going to say. Oh, that's not going to build any money. Oh, that's going to build a shit ton of money. Let me tell you what. So how much is your latte every day? To make numbers easy, we're going to say it's $5. Okay? You work 5 days a week. You stop every day to get that latte. Do you? Do you not? I don't know. But for numbers' sakes, we're going to say it's $5 a day. That's $25. 4 weeks in a month, that's $100. That's $100. In 1 year? Have you calculated that? In 1 year, that's $1,200. If you put that money away, and you do that for however many years you want to do it, yeah, you've got a nice little retirement egg there. It's called the Latte Fund. You pick the money, the amount you want. All I'm trying to share is it doesn't take a shit ton of money to start an investment fund. Again, you've got young kids, start it with your kids. There's enough apps out there. Kids are smart enough, you know. The allowance you're giving them every week, $10 a week, put $2 into that investment fund. It's about habits. It's about teaching. It's about long term. Habits, money, it's not things that happen overnight. It's long term. It's repetitive. It's good stuff. It's good stuff, isn't it? Yeah, it's good stuff. That's what I say. What else do I have here? Oh, yeah, one of the big ones, patience and delayed gratification. Need, want. Maybe I want it. I don't need it. Maybe I can wait 2 months until I have the money to pay for it, until I have the cash to pay for it. Valuable lesson. Patience. That's another fantastic habit to create in your kiddos, especially in this day and age where we feel like we need everything instant gratification. We want it today. Again, I see that in the retail world. I actually have women that say, no, I don't want to order it today. I need it today. I need to touch it, feel it, put it on today, like right now. Okay. So why is that? Take the time to examine that. It doesn't mean it's right, wrong, nothing. But why? Just examine that. Just good topics to journal on. That's what I say. So kind of to recap what I've talked about today, farm and ranch kid, and learning how to spend my money. It was a habit that was just instilled, probably starting at the age of 8, from the money I got for doing chores. And then it went into a checking account, and you had to learn how to budget your money. You knew you had certain expenses. It's not the end of the world if you run out of money when you're a kid learning these habits. It's kind of a shitstorm though, when you're 45 and you've run out of money and it's another week before payday. Those habits that could have been learned when you were 8 years old are going to be invaluable to carry you through life. Credit card debt is at an all-time height in our country. Instant gratification. I need it. Instill in your kids habits that'll last a lifetime. Thanks for joining the podcast. All about chores and money. Ugh. Maybe next time it'll be a little more uplifting topic. Thanks for joining. Have a great day.